So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Should I buy the iPhone 13 Pro or should I buy the iPhone 14 Plus? If you're asking yourself that question, this video is for you. Now, the price of these phones right now, the reason why I'm even making this video is that you can actually find an iPhone 13 Pro right around the price point of an iPhone 14 Plus. So if you were, looking third party right now, you're going to see sometimes they're even less than an iPhone 14 Plus, depending on the storage capacity you go with. And in that case, you might actually be getting a better deal for the iPhone 13 Pro. The phone is a year old already, but still has basically most of what the iPhone 14 Pro has to offer. So which one should you buy in terms of build and body? And for my money, I'm going to say the iPhone 14 Pro. I'll tell you why. It has the more premium stainless steel edges on here, and they just feel nicer. The back material is also less likely to attract fingerprints with its etched glass material. And these cameras do stick off the body quite a bit, but not like the iPhone 14 Pros, which got even thicker. They're still thick on here, but not quite as thick. This is one of the best options right now, I think, on the market for a used phone. Yes, it's still kind of high, but if you're going to go all out and buy, a phone that you don't want to pay $1,000 for, $700, you can snag a 13 Pro. Now, that's insane for what it's giving you. This phone was giving you the same stuff, at over $1,000 just a year or so ago. So it's a pretty good deal right now. Now, you will be sacrificing a little bit of size with the iPhone 13 Pro, but on the iPhone 14 Plus, you are going to get these aluminum edges. And while they're beautiful and they're clean, they don't attract as many fingerprints. If you drop this phone or whatever, it's going to nick the paint on this phone, especially if you get the Starlight, it probably won't as much, but the back is much more fingerprinty. And while I do like this red, it's very zingy, very vibrant. This phone doesn't feel quite as premium, although it feels a little lighter, honestly, just because, this material is a lighter metal than the stainless steel. But overall, I would say in terms of the price point for the body and the build, I would recommend the iPhone 13 Pro. I think it's a better deal for your money if you're looking for pure quality. Now, design-wise, some people actually prefer the way the iPhone 13 looks. I mean, the 14 Plus. I said that on purpose because it looks just like a blown-up 13. The iPhone 14 Plus has a clean diagonal camera design. Over here, we have a triple camera. Some people think that looks like a stovetop. Some people just like the look of the dual camera system better. But I think for the same money, you're getting better value because you get an extra lens for zooming, aka, you do get telephoto on there. So definitely the ability to zoom. So I would say just overall design and build, for my money, yes, it is a little bit bigger. So you are getting some nice value there, but you're going to be sacrificing with that 60 hertz display. Over here, just more premium for the same money. So that's what I would say in terms of build and the body. Now, when it comes to the display, the 14 Plus is giving you a really nice panel over here. It is OLED. It is very bright at 800 nits, but it's not much different than an iPhone 13. That's not a bad thing. They give plenty bright, true tone displays on board, as well as dark mode, night shift on all iPhones. Plenty sharp. But one thing it's not plenty is plenty smooth. It's a 60 hertz, and yeah, it's smooth in terms of iOS operating system. It's smooth on all iPhones, and the average user is not going to go ahead and notice this stuff. But when you are looking at a video like this, you're trying to decide what is the better value for my money. I think the better value is the iPhone 13 Pro. You will sacrifice size, but you're getting a brighter, better display. It just feels next level compared to this phone right here. So if you're looking for a pure, better value in terms of the actual display quality, go with the iPhone 13 Pro. You won't regret it. And it also, over time, is a little more comfy. I think we all get drawn into the big display right away, but once you actually start using the big display, you kind of sometimes realize maybe I should have just got the 6.1 because they're not too far off in what they're going to provide you, but they are, giving you a better panel here for the iPhone 13 Pro. So for the money, I'm recommending the 13 Pro on the display. However, if you just absolutely need a big display and you're not going to pay for a 13 Pro Max, you're not going to pay for a 14 Pro Max, this is your option. right here. You're going to get a 12 Pro Max style display on this phone though. Do keep that in mind. Both are pretty easy to see outdoors though, so no major issues on that front. And they're both really good OLED quality panels, very good saturation and calibration. But I will say, if you're looking for the better value, the 13 Pro with its ProMotion display also helps it get good battery life. It's just a really good value there now that it's going to be reduced in price because it's been out for a little while now. So let's talk about software and performance. Now, software is not going to be different on either. Again, I do mention this quite a bit in my reviews, but really the only difference you're going to see is there's an action mode on here, not an action mode on there. Now, if you do GoPro-like videos, that software enhancement of the action mode and camera will be critical. This is a dope feature, honestly, especially if you're in an action video and stuff like that. So do consider the 14 Plus if that's for you. Other than that, you are going to have these same operations on both of them. I will say the software seems a little bit better designed for smaller phones, as Apple's not really taking advantage of their larger platform, just yet, putting no split screens on these phones. And I know some people say, well, people don't need to multitask, but listen, guys, the truth of the matter here is that the iPhones, are big enough now to have a split screen mode, and they just don't. So overall, same software, same app library, same everything. Really, it's just down to the size. Again, I still feel like it's more comfy. iOS feels more designed for a smaller panel, but at the same time, you might get 1 year extra software. You might not get 1 year extra software update because they do have the same chipset. We'll see what happens there. Although these are the same A15 Bionics, they were launched in different years. So we'll have to see in the future, does Apple actually keep the 14 and 13s updated the same length? We're gonna have to see with that down the line. But honestly, in performance, you really don't notice a difference but the smoother display. And that kind of tricks your brain into feeling like it is a faster phone. So honestly, in the real world, the iPhone 13 Pro will trick your brain into thinking it's a faster phone because it has the faster refresh. So honestly, once again, I would say in terms of what you actually experience in performance, I would get the 13 Pro over the iPhone 14 Plus. The 14 Plus is a rock solid performer. It's fast as ever as well. It's not slow whatsoever, but that little delay, that little 60 hertz look, you got to put these side by side to see what I'm talking about. It just kind of makes you feel like, did I really just pay $1,000 for that when I could get this with a similar thing? I mean, come on, man. Come on, Apple. Let's get the next Plus with a 120 hertz display, or at least a 90 hertz display. All right, so I'm going to tell you which one to get in terms of camera. It's going to be the 13 Pro. Let me tell you why. This phone has a macro mode, so you can get really close-up shots. Not only that, you do have the telephoto. Now, not everybody needs a telephoto, but there's a lot of situations where just regular consumers will need it. Venues, events. Let's say you're sitting in the nosebleeds. You want to zoom in. You're getting better zoom on here. Let's say you're taking a picture of something, it's too far away. You zoom in, you get better picture. You can go 15x. The 14 Plus over here, no macro modes. So blurry up close photos, zoom in, it maxes out at a ridiculous 5x. Digital. So that digital zoom is going to have some noise in there. So not going to be my favorite recommendation for neither zoom or close-up shots. I actually think that the next Plus should have 3 cameras. The next Pros or Ultras should have 4 cameras. Now, when it comes to video, no real differences here. I can't really recommend one or the other over this. However, what I will say is that the 13 Pro probably had the best camera I've ever experienced on an iPhone. These newer ones are doing some little HDR stuff that can kind of over sharpen the photo after the fact. And it's cool and all, but sometimes it gives undesirable results. I do believe that the 13 Pro had the best camera so far on an iPhone to date. It was just so easy, not too much blur in the background. Everything looked like perfect. So I would say 13 Pro if you're looking for the camera experience. The only way I would say go get the iPhone 14 Plus is if you guys need that action mode, or you just simply want the bigger viewfinder because of the bigger screen. Other than that, I'm going with the 13 Pro. I'm recommending the 13 Pro. I think it still provides better value than the iPhone 14 Plus. And I don't think most people need the action mode, but if you do, that's the only way I could recommend getting the 14 Plus here. Now, when it comes to battery life, the iPhone 13 Pro cannot win this one. Sorry, it's a great phone. It gets through the whole day easily, and it will impress you. but the iPhone 14 Plus will more than impress you. This phone is getting all the praise here because this is the longest battery life iPhone I've ever used. This thing's ridiculously good in battery life. It'll go 2 days probably for a lot of people. And some people are gonna say, hey Nick bro, I can get 2 days on my 13 Pro. What are you talking about? Yeah, but you gotta understand, I'm talking about people that are using their phone a lot. I can get through almost 2 days using this phone a lot. And that's saying something about a smartphone. So the iPhone 14 Plus, yes, it does remove some of the fancy higher brightness features, some of the fancier, having that extra speed with the A16, just a lot of stuff going on here, just kind of simple, just not overly bright screen, no 120 hertz. It just lasts forever. Big battery life. Yeah, this phone just lasts really, really long. So I can't recommend the 13 Pro over the 14 Plus there. So if that's your main concern, get the 14 Plus. But the 13 Pro is still a full day phone and then some if you're medium usage. Heavy use is a 1 day phone. So both of them very good. 14 Plus beyond very good. Now, one thing about both these phones is they do have very impressive phone call qualities and reception strength. Neither of these phones will really let you down here. They both have better modems than they used to have, Qualcomm on board. Both have 5G and both are very reliable, especially if you're in big cities. These things, 5 bars everywhere. So way better than before. However, there's one peace of mind feature on the 14 Plus that could make or break this decision, and that is the emergency SOS. If you find yourself, doing a job where you're out and about a lot, maybe you're a driver, you're doing something where we don't want anything bad to happen to nobody, but there is risks in life, and if you just feel like you want the peace of mind where basically nobody can, find you're by yourself, this thing could be a life-saving feature. In addition to that, they have it via satellite as well. So even if you're in remote areas, this can potentially save your life in the event of an unlikely, hopefully never happens, accident. But we're already seeing reports of these things saving people's lives. So you're not going to get that feature on the iPhone 13 Pro. So if that's something that you care about, go ahead and get the 14 Plus. You'll win out here. Now, in terms of audio, they're about the same. I found the 14 Plus to sound a hair louder, but overall, they're about the same. Firing out these bottom speakers, very loud. You'll notice one thing too, the larger phones do have a few extra holes. 3 on the left, you'll see 4 on the right, and you'll see at the top there's 5 up there, or actually 6 versus 5 on the 13 Pro. Just a little small detail we wanted to note. And then of course you're gonna get similar notches on here. We didn't even talk about notch much. Face ID about the same. It's kind of covered with that wallpaper, but same notches on board with audio performance up there being pretty good. So wrapping it up here, which phone to get for the money, being around the same price, a 13 Pro, secondhand, or a 14 Plus. If you want a bigger screen and you don't care about 120 hertz, you want long battery life, you want some zingy color options, go with the 14 Plus. You'll be very happy here. You just gotta really not care about that 120 hertz. And you want a bigger phone that's lighter, get the 14 Plus. But if you want the better value for your money, it's on the 13 Pro. You're getting a phone that feels more premium than this. You're getting better cameras, feels amazing because of the stainless steel, looks beautiful, it's luxurious, it's comfortable, and it has the same CPU and a smoother panel. If you care about tech a lot, I would say get the 13 Pro. You'll be a happier camper there. So let me know your thoughts on these two. Which would you buy? Comment down below. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.